But again, posting alone isn't going to do it, because if you know anything about LinkedIn and these fickle algorithms, um, they will not show your stuff to everybody regardless. It's all about engagement. And so you need to know who it is you're targeting behind all of this. Who is your ideal client? If you know who that is and you've got a list of key targets on LinkedIn, this whole process works so much better.
Through this perspective, and I think if you're listening, you're like, oh, wow, this is like opening my mind up to new, like I just kind of had a bit of a light bulb moment. Like, well, what if I did sell this, who knows, 10 years from now? Yep. And then I could be like an advisor to both charities and businesses and like have this personal brand and be able to do this, just the 1% of stuff I really want to do. Like that's pretty awesome. And these people have created through their own ingenuity and creativity, they've created something of tangible value. They come to Concertina and they get to work with Mickey to like maybe multiply what that's worth on paper and in an exit or IPO. And then they have this freedom to go kind of do the next chapter. So we're going to talk all about specifically marketing on LinkedIn to do that and build that personal brand. For people listening who are like, there's more to this. There's a lot more to this whole journey. I would invite people to go find the Ryan Deiss episode that I did. It was really about operating systems and like, how do you set up a scalable company with operations? And I did one very recently with Barrett Brooks, who helped grow ConvertKit from 3 million to 30 million. They did not exit, but he exited the company and took his shares. And he talked in that episode about kind of this 18-month sort of hiatus that he had to go do a lot of cool stuff personally. And he talked a lot about team building and this whole idea of like culture and leadership and team building. I loved all that stuff, but I really love marketing. So Mickey, I'd love to kind of transition now. So as people are thinking about their own personal brand, especially, but their company, and they're like, man, I really need better systems and marketing. We could obviously do a whole series on this. Maybe we'll do that at some point. But today, if we could just hone in on one specific strategy, I'd love to kind of hand the mic over to you for however long it takes. And I'll interject as I have questions. But I'd love to just let you jam on LinkedIn and LinkedIn for personal brands and lead generation and all the things that you want to kind of highlight for our audience.
Oh, I'm excited. So the reason why I love LinkedIn in particular is most of the businesses we work with are B2B. They're not necessarily retail or e-commerce. We're talking business owner to business owner, and LinkedIn is by far the best platform for that space. Yeah. It's just set up for it. So it's fantastic. And if you know anything about LinkedIn, you know that nobody checks a company profile. Company pages just don't perform. They're there essentially as a credibility check. They're like a brochure, like we exist, we're real. Check out our website. Don't stay here.
The logo that's like linked from your personal page. That's really the only reason you have the company page. Yeah.
That's it. And so we don't really focus on the company page. Yes, we'll repurpose content and pop it on there and whatnot, but it's not the focus. That's just the credibility check that the organization exists and you can be searched. The real point is to build the connections and generate the leads that you need to continue to grow, while also establishing yourself as a person of influence in your industry, in your zone of genius, in your realm. And so there's usually one way, or a few ways that this goes really wrong. People just start hammering cold messages on LinkedIn, and they'll post sales stuff about their product or service or company. And none of that works. I mean, I'm sure if you looked into your inbox on LinkedIn, it's probably got 20 cold messages from people who are like, hey, let's book a call so I can sell you. No one's got time for that. Nobody cares about that. So that's not what we do. We kind of looked at what are they all doing? And then how can we do the complete opposite of that? Because it's terrible.
Yeah.
So when we're thinking of building our personal brand, it's really about building relationships. And I know you're going to align with this so much, Dustin, because we're on the same page here. It's all about building relationships. And relationships don't start with a sale. Relationships start with genuinely caring and curiosity and sharing, connecting with someone for real, not just posting salesy content. And so what we do is we start to create content on LinkedIn in 3 categories that will break out into a bunch of different topics or pillars. But it's really simple. It's your professional zone of genius. What is the thing that you bring to the table wherever you go that sets you apart? Your secret sauce, your magic thing, your whatever that is. So that's the what. That's what you are in your professional realm. And then beneath that, you're going to have how you execute on that. So it could be, I do this and I do this and I do this. Then we've got your company, which is kind of like your baby right now. And we're talking here just overall about what it is, why it aligns with you, how it works, and what sets it apart, right? Very, very simple. That's one pillar. And then the final pillar, my personal favorite pillar, is your why.
Mm.
Why in the world are you here? What are you doing? What's your mission, your values, your purpose? Why are you in this company? Why are you in this zone of genius? What is it that lights you up? And this is more so about you on the personal side, not the professional side. So your family, your life outside of work, the things that you love, the people you want to spend time with, how you spend your time, where you spend your money, those sorts of pieces. And when you combine all three of those, you have yourself a pretty strong personal brand content strategy right there.
Absolutely. I love that. And yeah, I totally, of course, resonate with all that. So you got your what, or like your zone of genius, the thing you're kind of known for professionally. You got the how, which is like, how do you actually provide value through your zone of genius? Maybe that's through your company or through different projects or different even philanthropic endeavors. And then 3, the kind of thing that ties it all together and makes people really care about you personally is the why. What are your values? Is this something you do because of your faith or some way you're serving your community or some way, like what really fires you up and makes you show up every day and do this. So I love that as like a 3-pillar framework for what kind of content to even do. And then get as tactical as you'd like, but like, okay, so like if I start thinking about this and I've got, I can just sort of like create lists under these 3 pillars. Then what? Is it like, is there a certain frequency we should be posting? Is there like text versus audio versus carousels versus video and all that jazz?
I'll give it all. But this isn't the only piece. So posting content is just one key component of this entire system. So just keep that in mind. It's not the entire thing. Yeah. This is what we like to call the amplification of a really crummy lead generation system. This is how we turn everything else better is by posting this personal brand content. You're going to relate to your audience. You're going to connect with them. They're going to see you as a person, not a sale. And when you do show up in their DMs, they're like, oh, you're the one who also talks about how hard motherhood is, or how, how important it is for me to align with my faith when I'm in my work, or whatever that is.
Right.
And then they're going to be way more open to having a conversation with you because they know the conversation is going to be good regardless of the sale.
Yep.
So that's one component. We find 2 to 3 days a week is great. And there's a whole system behind this, but 2 to 3 days a week of posting is great. But again, posting alone isn't going to do it, because if you know anything about LinkedIn and these fickle algorithms, they will not show your stuff to everybody regardless. Right. It's all about engagement. And so you need to know who it is you're targeting behind all of this. Who is your ideal client? If you know who that is and you've got a list of key targets on LinkedIn, this whole process works so much better. So you're posting this content 3 days a week. You're anytime someone engages on your content, you're engaging back. You don't have to live on LinkedIn to do this. We usually hire someone to do this for you, so you don't have to do it. But that's part 1. And the reason why we love this is because once someone starts seeing and engaging on your content, the number of touch points you'll have with this person increases exponentially.
Yep.
So if somebody starts engaging on your content, instead of seeing your post 1 time in their feed, they'll see it up to 10 times in their feed through the scroll. So we all know the importance of creating those marketing touch points, right? Of building those relationships and touch points. And so that helps this significantly.